at the Forum last September, when Dave Grohl, God bless him, put on this amazing tribute to his friend Taylor Hawkins. Dave and Taylor inducted you guys finally into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which all of us have wanted many years before that. And if you haven't seen the video of it, it's a very funny induction. And these guys, all three of them, have a tremendous sense of humor and very self-deprecating and wonderful stuff. But there is this massive event. There was the London one first, and then a month or so later, I flew out to be part of the LA one. And so I didn't even know you guys were going to be. There were so many artists, and all of a sudden Dave Grohl introduces Alex and Geddy, and you come out looking vibrant and wild. And on the drum kit, for 2112 Part 1 Overture is none other than Dave Grohl. Not too shabby. And my memory of it, which is a little fuzzy, because I'd been on the floor for 9 hours.
What were you doing on the floor?
I was watching the show and drinking beer. And my memory is that went directly into Working Man, and Chad Smith from the Peppers took over. And that went into YYZ, and Danny Carey of Tool was there. And I believe there was one transition where the song didn't even stop, where the drummer kept going, and one of the other ones just stepped in.
Yeah, Dave just passed the baton over to Chad. But that was an incredible couple of days, you know. It was very emotional for obvious reasons.
Because the Forum was the last venue that Rush played at the closing of the R40 tour.
Yeah, and so you're looking at, first of all, 2 events to celebrate the life and sadly the passing of a great person, Taylor Hawkins, who was an amazing human being. He was a great drummer, of course, a great rocker, but he was a lovely fucking guy, honestly. And I had just gotten an email from him. He was like that. Every once in a while he would send a note and just check in. Hey dude, what are you doing? How come you're not out there playing, man? Come on, get the fuck off your ass, get out there. That was the kind of guy he was, you know. So just being a part of that was important to us to do. Dave Grohl is the most incredible human being I've ever met in my life. He's just... he understood how difficult it would be for Alex and I to come back and play without Neil. And yet, he said, you know, you were so important to Taylor. I can't imagine doing this without you there. So I said, yes, of course, immediately. But he was very aware of how difficult it would be. And so he said, one thing you cannot do is play with one drummer. Because then everyone's just going to say, that's the new Rush. So let's divide it up amongst all this drum. I don't want to play the really hard ones. You can get someone else to do that. But anyway, so it was a great event. We paid tribute to him, and I got a chance to pay tribute to Neil. And because we were at the Forum, it was a cathartic moment for me. And in a way, we were able to reclaim those songs for ourselves again and feel good about playing the songs, whether Neil was with us or not. And that's important for us to move on, and I think you know, it's a real lesson.
Well, as the Foo Fighters, a lot of people wondered if they would carry on without Taylor, and many said they would not. Would you see any possible musical project with Alex and some other musicians in the days ahead?
Who knows? Can't say.
All right, and that was not a no, ladies and gentlemen. I remind you, that was not a no. My final question, and this, to me, my favorite Rush song is a beautiful number called Time Stands Still. And I believe you were in the Caribbean, Barbados maybe, when you recorded that one, I'm not sure. But there's so many things that make it special, most importantly, the lyrics. My friend Jason turned me on to it. And Amy Mann, her magnificent vocals of Till Tuesday fame. There was some talk you wanted Cyndi Lauper or Chrissie Hynde, but sometimes things work out for a reason.
Yeah.
And she was perfect. But the message of that song, I think it's something we can all take out of here this evening, because the concept of freezing the moment, of right now. That's why I said when we began, and I'm sorry we've gone on a little longer, but you don't mind, do you? But the idea of savoring a great moment, of right now, doesn't mean you can't plan for the future, but don't pine over the past. Live this moment, and freeze the moment. What do you think of that?
Well, of course. I mean, when Neil wrote that song, you know, it sort of showed that he was wise beyond his years, because it takes a lot of living to learn some of the things that he talked about, and not your typical rock and roll fare to you know, opine about how special it is to realize the moment you're in with whoever you're with and appreciate who you're with. And it's foreshadowing, because, you know, his life was truncated, sadly, by this disease, and so he did his best to, you know, freeze the moment as much as he could, and he fought so many difficulties. One man should never have to fight all that difficulty. So it sort of lives on, that song, as will our appreciation of him, and so that's how I feel about it. So it's time, I think. I want to do something with all of you. I would like to take my picture with all of you. And before that, I would like to ask the great Brian Koppelman to come